Conjunction, junction, what's your function? Hooking up words and phrases and clauses. Conjunction, junction, how's that function?
I couldn't pass it up. I found it. I had to use it. Conjunction, junction. Kind of a funky version, too. Okay, it's about functions once again today. And I tried to keep this kind of simple. I just want you to really have the idea of functions wrapped into your brain so that you understand it a little bit. So we're going to work on it again a little bit today. And then you got a week off. Let that brain rest a little bit, and on we go. I've got a handout here. We're going to be adding 2 functions to a program today, which I will kind of walk you through here, unless you don't need it. But anyway, I'm going to hop over here to code.org and show you what we're going to do. Do I have, yeah, no, yes, no, yes. Here it is. Okay, so what we've got is some code that makes these 2 cars go across. It's like a race, right? And there's a line drawn there for the finish line. The line is over, if you were to show the grid, the line's over 350 pixels. So that's kind of our finish line marker, right? And they're a little choppy just because of the way I programmed it. It could have probably been done better, but I just used some random velocity x's for those, so you kind of don't know for sure how quickly they're going to go the whole time. And what we're going to do in this exercise is we're going to write a couple of functions that we'll check to kind of see who wins. There's going to be a check red function to see if the red, that's always checking, did the red car cross the finish line. Then there's going to be a check blue function that has a similar job, check to see if the blue cars crossed the finish line. And if they did, if the red car crossed, then there's certain things you might want to have happen. Same thing for the blue. So let's go to work on this. Okay, so first of all, remember that I'm going to do this. I kind of like having a little space in here, so I'm going to do this whole show text, enter, puts those little white, well, it didn't. Okay, that's all right, doesn't matter. Let me reset this. Okay, first thing, we're going to build a function that will check the red car. Remember that the draw loop right here in this example program, the draw loop runs from line 11 down to line 19, and it is the main part of the program. It's the part that loops over and over and over and over and over, and you know, kind of makes things run. Okay, functions typically go down below. All right, so I'm going to drop it down here. And so I went to the function drawer and I got that first one. I'm going to drop it down here and I need to name it. We said that yesterday. I'm going to call this check red with a capital R on red. I'm using what's called camel case there. And there's a handful of things I want to do to check the red car. The first thing is if. And I'm just going to type this in here. You could use all the blocks and everything, but what I'm going to be checking is if red dot x is greater than 350. The finish line, that black line, the finish line is at 350. It's over 350. So I'm going to check to see if red dot x is greater than 350. All right. And so what do I want to have happen if that's true? Well, one thing I'm going to do, and you wouldn't necessarily have to do it just like me. You know that, right? You figured that out. I'm going to set red's velocity x at 0. If it crosses the finish line, I'm going to have it come to a stop. In fact, I'm going to do the same for blue. I'm going to have blue come to a stop as well. So I'm excuse me, I'm setting their velocities at 0. Now another thing I'm going to do for the blue car, if you don't win, you disappear. So I'm going to set the blue velocity to false, or I'm sorry, the blue visibility to false. And then the other thing I'm going to do is just stick a little message on the screen here. It's not going to be anything super fancy, but I'll go get a text size thing, and I'm going to set it at about 30. And, do I need just to be safe, I'll put a fill color in there. I think it'll be fine, but I already had it for black for the line. It's okay. And the text string. And this is going to say red wins. And I'm going to put that over like over 50 and down. I don't know. Let's do about 150. That's a guess. All right. Now, the other thing that we have to remember to do is that if you have a function, which I just created down here at line number 20, and it's even telling me that yellow triangle says it's defined, but it's not called in your program. Remember, when you have a function, you really have to make it work, you have to go to the functions drawer, get this call a function block, drop it in the main program. It goes inside the draw loop, and the name here has to match exactly. Check red. All right. There's that. Now, going to do the same. I'm not going to run the program yet. I'm going to do the same thing for blue. And you know what? There's so much similarity between these two functions that I'll show you what I'm going to do. You probably are going to do the same thing. I'm just going to drag select so that I have that whole function selected. Control C. Get my cursor down here. Control V. I'm going to paste it. And I'm just going to change a few things. The name of this function will be check blue. And I'm going to check to see if blue.x is greater than 350. I still want to set both velocities to 0. I'm going to have both cars stop moving. But if blue wins, if blue gets there first, I'm going to set red's visibility to false, make red disappear. And the message down here is going to say blue wins. All right, so I have now sitting down at the bottom below the main part of the program, below the draw loop, I have these two functions, check red, check blue. All right, but I haven't done this yet. I haven't pulled over my little function thing and said in here, check blue. All right, so this up here, this is known as calling a function, and then the functions actually live down here. And again, said this yesterday, but the way this works is as the computer is executing these commands, it sees this thing, for example, right here, and it's thinking, check red, what's that? What do I do? So it runs down here and looks, oh, okay, I've got this little batch of commands down here, and that's what check red is. So I'm supposed to do all that stuff, and then I'll just hop right back up and keep going. And then it has to do check blue, so it runs down here, and it, okay, here's check blue, and it does all that stuff. And then it runs back up and just keeps doing its thing. So this is a way to kind of jump the flow of your program down to these little sections here and make them work for you. Well, so let's take a peek at our fabulous program. We've run the program. They're racing. Oh, look. Oh, wow. We had kind of like a tie there. I'm getting a lot of ties. I think I found why my ties are happening. I might just change some orders. I think I'll take these calls of the function and put them after the velocity commands right here, maybe even after the draw sprites. Let's try that. So we run that. Oops, sorry. Run that again, and oh, look, red won. Sometimes order makes a difference. You have to play with things. Oh, red wins again. I'm going to run it several times just to see if we get a different result. And it will. I mean, I tested it some before oh, look there, blue won. I feel better for blue. All right. Blue wins again. He's coming back. Blue wins again. He's on a roll. Look at him go. All right, so kind of watch your order a little bit. I discovered that these function calls are going to work a whole lot better if they're after the velocity commands that are in here. So sometimes you just have to kind of play around and solve those little problems. Blue wins again. Blue wins again. He's on a roll. Red can't win one to save his life now. Oh, there he did. Red wins. Okay, so that's it. We're writing those two little functions, try to make them work, see if you can solve that problem, and just, we're building experience is what we're doing. Boy, that's it. Have fun with functions. Fist bump.
Conjunction, junction, how's that function? I got 3 favorite cars that get most of my job done.